Welcome back to the channel. Like and sub if you enjoyed the video, thank you. Chapter 58, The Village Transformed. Back in Chandrapur, the villagers were buzzing with excitement. The return of their delegation from the Green Tech Hub had sparked a renewed sense of purpose and optimism. Word spread quickly about the innovations they had seen and the potential they held for the village's future. The once quiet village square was now a hub of activity, with villagers gathering to discuss the new ideas and plans they had brought back with them. Priya stood in the center of the square, surrounded by familiar faces. She could feel the energy in the air, a mix of curiosity, hope, and determination. The villagers had come a long way from the early days of their efforts, and now they were ready to take the next big steps toward transforming Chandrapur into a model of sustainability. "Thank you all for coming," Priya began, her voice clear and confident. "I know many of you are eager to hear about our visit to Green Tech and how it will impact our village. We've learned so much, and there are exciting developments ahead." She gestured to a large, colorful banner that hung behind her, depicting images of solar panels, water conservation systems, and the new solar-powered vehicle they had seen at Green Tech. The banner was a visual representation of the future they were building together. First, Priya continued, "I want to talk about the new waste management program we're going to implement. Green Tech shared some incredible ideas with us, and we're going to start by setting up a community-driven recycling and composting system. This will help us manage our waste more effectively and even create resources we can use for farming." The villagers murmured in approval, nodding their heads as they imagined the possibilities. Waste had long been a problem in Chandrapur, and the idea of turning it into something useful was both practical and empowering. "We'll be building compost pits in different parts of the village," Priya explained, "and we'll set up collection points for recyclables. We'll need everyone's cooperation to make this work, but I know we can do it together." Next, Priya introduced the concept of the solar-powered vehicle that had been offered by Green Tech. A few villagers had already seen the prototype in person, but for many, this was their first time hearing about it. "This vehicle is a game changer," she said, her excitement palpable. "It's designed specifically for rural areas like ours. It's durable, easy to maintain, and runs on solar power, so it's completely sustainable. Green Tech has chosen Chandrapur as one of the first villages to test it out." There was a collective gasp of astonishment from the crowd, followed by enthusiastic applause. Reliable transportation had always been a challenge, especially for those who needed to travel to nearby towns for work or supplies. The prospect of having a vehicle that could be shared by the community was a huge step forward. "We'll be organizing a schedule so everyone can benefit from it," Priya continued. "It will help us transport goods, take people to hospital if needed, and even travel to nearby markets to sell our produce." The villagers were brimming with ideas and questions, eager to get involved and see the vehicle in action. Priya could see that the introduction of this new technology was going to have a profound impact on their daily lives. As the meeting progressed, Priya shifted the focus to education and training, something she felt was crucial for the village's continued growth. "One of the key takeaways from our visit to Green Tech was the importance of education," she said. "We've already made strides in water conservation and renewable energy, but there's so much more we can learn. We'll be setting up workshops and training sessions to teach everyone how to make the most of these new technologies and practices." She announced that a team from Green Tech would be visiting Chandrapur in the coming weeks to conduct these workshops. They would cover a range of topics, from advanced farming techniques to waste management, and even basic engineering skills to maintain the new solar vehicle. The villagers listened intently, realizing that these new opportunities would empower them to take control of their future. The idea of learning new skills and applying them to improve their lives resonated deeply with everyone present. As the meeting drew to a close, Priya invited the villagers to ask questions and share their thoughts. One by one, they stepped forward, offering suggestions, expressing their excitement and voicing their concerns. It was a lively and productive discussion, with everyone contributing ideas and solutions. After the meeting, Priya walked through the village, reflecting on how far they had come. The dusty paths that once led to dry fields were now lined with solar panels and rainwater harvesting systems. The once polluted river had been cleaned, and the village was lush with greenery. There was a sense of pride and accomplishment in every corner of Chandrapur, a feeling that they were building something truly special. As she walked, she spotted a group of children playing near the community garden, their laughter echoing through the air. The garden, once barren and neglected, was now thriving, thanks to the villagers' efforts to adopt sustainable farming practices. It was a symbol of what they could achieve when they worked together, and it filled Priya with hope for the future. She paused by the newly constructed compost pit, where a few villagers were already at work, sorting waste and turning it into rich, fertile soil. It was a simple yet powerful example of how they were learning to live in harmony with nature, making the most of the resources they had. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the village, Priya knew that their journey was far from over. There would be challenges ahead, no doubt, but she was confident that Chandrapur was on the right path. They had the knowledge, the tools, and most importantly, the will to keep moving forward. Priya felt a deep sense of gratitude for the community that had embraced change with such enthusiasm. Together, they were not just transforming their village. They were setting an example for others to follow. Chandrapur was becoming a beacon of sustainability, a living testament to what could be achieved when people came together with shared vision and a commitment to a better future. And as she watched the villagers go about their evening routines, Priya felt a renewed sense of purpose. There was still much to do, but with the support of green tech and the determination of the villagers, she knew that anything was possible. Chandrapur's transformation was just the beginning. Chapter 59, The Great Solar Challenge. The buzz of excitement in Chandrapur had only intensified in the days following Priya's announcement. The villagers were eager to see the solar-powered vehicle in action and to learn how they could incorporate it into their daily lives. Anticipation reached a fever pitch when word spread that Green Tech's team would be arriving to deliver the vehicle and conduct the first of many workshops. On the morning of the big day, the village square was abuzz with activity. Children darted between the adults, their eyes wide with wonder, while the elders of the village gathered near community center, reminiscing about how much things had changed over the years. The air was thick with anticipation as everyone waited for the arrival of the Green Tech team. Priya was in the middle of organizing the day's events when she heard the faint hum of an engine approaching. The sound was unlike anything they had heard before. Smooth and quiet, a far cry from the noisy diesel engines that powered the few vehicles that occasionally passed through the village. The villagers turned their heads in unison as a sleek, solar-powered vehicle glided into the square. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause as the Green Tech team stepped out of the vehicle, beaming with pride. Michael, the head of the Innovation Division, waved to the crowd as he approached Priya. "Good to see you again, Priya," Michael said with a warm smile. "And hello to everyone in Chandrapur. We're thrilled to be here and excited to show you what this vehicle can do." Priya greeted Michael and his team with a sense of gratitude and excitement. "We've all been looking forward to this day," she said. "Thank you for choosing Chandrapur as one of the pilot villages. The villagers are eager to see the vehicle in action and learn how to use it." Michael nodded, gesturing toward the vehicle. "This is the Sunrider, our latest solar-powered innovation. It's designed to be versatile, durable, and easy to maintain. And the best part? It runs entirely on the sun's energy." He led the villagers in a demonstration, explaining how the solar panels on the roof of the vehicle captured sunlight and converted it into electricity, which powered the motor. The villagers watched in awe as Michael showed them how to operate the vehicle, highlighting its various features, including a simple dashboard, a spacious cargo area, and a robust suspension system that could handle the rough terrain around the village. As the demonstration continued, the villagers were invited to take turns driving the Sunrider. Some approached the vehicle hesitantly, while others eagerly jumped at the chance. Under the guidance of the Green Tech team, they quickly got the hang of it, and soon the vehicle was making loops around the village square, its quiet engine barely audible over the excited chatter. The sight of the Sunrider moving effortlessly through the village was nothing short of magical. For many of the villagers, this was their first experience with a modern vehicle, and the fact that it was powered by the sun only added to the sense of wonder. As the day went on, the Green Tech team conducted workshops on how to maintain the Sunrider and maximize its efficiency. They taught the villagers how to clean and care for the solar panels, check the battery levels, and troubleshoot common issues. The workshops were hands-on, and everyone was encouraged to participate, from the young men eager to learn about the mechanics to the elderly who were curious about this new technology. In between the workshops, Michael and his team engaged the villagers in discussions about the broader implications of solar power and sustainable technology. They explained how adopting these technologies could help reduce the village's carbon footprint, save money, and improve the quality of life for everyone. One of the most enthusiastic participants was Ravi, a young man who had recently returned to Chandrapur after completing his education in the nearby city. Ravi had always been interested in technology and was eager to bring his knowledge back to his village. He spent hours asking questions, taking notes, and brainstorming ways to integrate the Sunrider into the village's daily routines. "We could use it to transport our produce to the market," Ravi suggested during one of the discussions. "It's much faster and more reliable than the old bullock carts, and it would make a big difference in how we do business." Others chimed in with their own ideas. Some suggested using the Sunrider to take children to school or ferry villagers to the clinic in a neighboring town. The possibilities seemed endless, and the villagers' minds raced with the potential of this new technology. As the sun began to set, the Green Tech team gathered everyone for a final demonstration. Michael explained that they would be leaving the Sunrider in Chandrapur for a trial period, allowing the villagers to use it and provide feedback. If the trial was successful, Green Tech planned to roll out the vehicle in other rural communities across the country. Priya addressed the crowd, her voice filled with pride. "This is a momentous occasion for Chandrapur. We are not just adopting new technology. We are leading the way for other villages to follow. Let's make the most of this opportunity and show the world what we can achieve." The villagers erupted in applause, their excitement palpable. They had come a long way from the days of struggling with basic necessities, and now they were at the forefront of a technological revolution. The Sunrider was more than just a vehicle. It was a symbol of progress, innovation, and the bright future that lay ahead. As the villagers dispersed, Priya stood with Michael, watching the last rays of sunlight reflect off the Sunrider's solar panels. "Thank you for believing in us, Michael," she said. "This vehicle is going to change lives here." Michael smiled, his eyes twinkling with optimism. "Thank you, Priya. Chandrapur is an inspiration, and we're honored to be a part of your journey. I can't wait to see what you'll do next." With the Sunrider now a part of their daily lives, the villagers of Chandrapur were ready to embrace the future with open arms. They had the tools, the knowledge, and the determination to continue their journey towards sustainability and progress. And as they looked forward to the challenges and opportunities ahead, they knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their story. Chapter 60, A New Era Begins. The morning after the arrival of the Sunrider, Chandrapur was alive with energy and optimism. The villagers were already buzzing about how they would integrate the solar-powered vehicle into their daily lives, and discussions about the various possibilities had continued late into the night. The Sunrider had become the talk of the village, symbolizing the dawn of a new era. Priya woke up to the sound of activity outside her window. She could hear the excited voices of the villagers as they gathered near the community center. Today marked the official start of the Sunrider's trial period, and the villagers were eager to begin. As Priya stepped outside, she was greeted by Ravi, who had already taken on the role of unofficial Sunrider coordinator. His enthusiasm was infectious, and Priya couldn't help but smile as she saw him organizing the day's schedule. "Good morning, Priya," Ravi called out, waving a clipboard. "We've got everything set up for the first day of the trial. We're started with a few short trips around the village to get everyone familiar with the Sunrider, and then we'll take it to the market later in the day." Priya nodded approvingly. "You've done a great job, Ravi. The villagers are lucky to have someone like you leading the charge." Ravi beamed with pride. "Thank you. I'm just excited to see how this technology can improve our lives. I've already got a list of ideas from the villagers, and I think we can really make a difference." As they approached the village square, they saw a group of villagers gathered around the Sunrider, which was parked in a prominent spot. The Green Tech team had left detailed instructions on how to use the vehicle, and the villagers were eager to put their newfound knowledge into practice. Priya and Ravi joined the group as they began the first test run of the day. The plan was to take the Sunrider on a loop around the village, stopping at key points to allow different villagers to take a turn driving. The atmosphere was electric, with everyone eager to see how the Sunrider will perform on the village's uneven roads. Ravi climbed into the driver's seat for the first leg of the journey. As he started the engine, the Sunrider hummed to life, its solar panels glinting in the morning sun. The villagers cheered as the vehicle smoothly pulled away from the square, its quiet operation a stark contrast to the noisy, polluting vehicles they had seen in the past. As the Sunrider made its way through the village, Priya walked alongside it, chatting with the villagers who had gathered to watch. Everyone was impressed by how easily the vehicle handled the rough terrain, and there was a sense of pride in knowing that their village was leading the way in adopting sustainable technology. The first stop was a community garden, where the villagers had been working hard to implement the new farming techniques they had learned. Ravi stepped out of the Sunrider, handing the keys to an elderly farmer named Hari, who had been eager to try driving it. Hari climbed into the driver's seat with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. With Ravi's guidance, he started the engine and slowly pulled away, the Sunrider gliding smoothly over the dirt path that led away from the garden. The crowd cheered, and Hari grinned from ear to ear, clearly thrilled by the experience. As the Sunrider continued its journey, more villagers took turns driving it, each one adding to the growing sense of community pride. The vehicle stopped at various points around the village, the school, the clinic, the riverbank, giving everyone a chance to experience the future of transportation firsthand. By the time the Sunrider returned to the village square, the excitement had reached a fever pitch. Ravi gathered everyone together to discuss the next phase of the trial, taking the Sunrider to the nearby market town to transport goods. This was a significant moment, as it would demonstrate the vehicle's potential to revolutionize how the villagers conducted business. Priya addressed the crowd, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Today, we've seen what the Sunrider can do right here in our village. Now, we're going to take it on its first real test, using it to transport our goods to market. This is just the beginning of how this technology will change our lives. Let's make this journey together and show everyone what Chandrapur is capable of. The villagers cheered, energized by Priya's words. A group of volunteers quickly loaded the Sunrider with produce from the community garden, as well as handcrafted goods made by the village's artisans. Everything was carefully packed into the vehicle's cargo area, which had ample space for their needs. Ravi took the wheel again, with Priya joining him in the passenger seat. As they prepared to set off, the villagers gathered around, waving and offering words of encouragement. The Sunrider's quiet engine purred as it pulled away from the square, heading down the road that led to the market town. The journey to the market was smooth and uneventful, with the Sunrider performing flawlessly on the open road. Ravi and Priya chatted excitedly about the possibilities that lay ahead, both for Chandrapur and for other villages that might follow their example. They knew that this was more than just a simple trip to the market. It was a test of the future they were building. When they arrived at the market town, the Sunrider drew immediate attention. The sleek, solar-powered vehicle stood out among the older, more traditional forms of transportation, and the townspeople were quick to approach Ravi and Priya with questions. As they unloaded the goods and set up their stall, Priya and Ravi took turns explaining how the Sunrider worked and sharing the story of Chandrapur's transformation. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many expressing interest in learning more about the technology and how it could be implemented in their own communities. The day at the market was a resounding success. The villagers' produce and goods sold quickly, thanks in part to curiosity and goodwill generated by the Sunrider. As the day came to a close, Priya and Ravi loaded the now empty vehicle and prepared to head back to Chandrapur. On the return journey, the mood was celebratory. They had not only proven the Sunrider's capabilities, but had also sparked a conversation about sustainability and innovation that would undoubtedly spread beyond their village. Priya couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride in what they had accomplished. When they arrived back in Chandrapur, they were greeted with cheers and applause. The villagers gathered around the Sunrider as Priya and Ravi recounted the day's events, sharing stories of their success at the market and the interest they had generated. That evening, the villagers held a celebration in the square, with music, dancing, and a feast of local dishes. The Sunrider was parked in a place of honor, a symbol of the bright future they were building together. As the festivities continued late into the night, Priya took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. Chandrapur was no longer just a small, isolated village. It had become a beacon of innovation, sustainability, and community spirit. The journey was far from over, but with the Sunrider and the villagers' determination, there was no limit to what they could achieve. As she watched the villagers celebrating, Priya knew that this was just the beginning of a new era for Chandrapur, one filled with hope, progress, and endless possibilities. Chapter 61, Expanding Horizons. The success of the Sunrider had done more than just revolutionize transportation in Chandrapur. It had sparked a wave of curiosity and ambition among the villagers. They began to wonder what other sustainable technologies might be out there, waiting to transform their lives in ways they hadn't yet imagined. Priya, ever the forward thinker, knew that the time was right to explore these possibilities. One sunny morning, Priya called a meeting at the community center. The room buzzed with anticipation as villagers gathered, eager to hear what new ideas might be in store. Ravi, who had become Priya's right hand in all things related to sustainable development, sat at the front, already scribbling notes in his ever-present notebook. Priya stood and addressed the crowd. We've seen what one piece of technology, the Sunrider, can do for our village, but I believe there's so much more out there that we can learn from. Other communities have faced the same challenges we have, and some of them have found innovative solutions. It's time for us to reach out and see what we can bring back to Chandrapur. A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. The villagers were proud of what they had accomplished, but they were also eager to keep moving forward. Our plan, Priya continued, is to visit some of the nearby towns that have adopted sustainable practices. We'll learn from them, gather ideas, and then decide how we can implement those ideas here. Ravi and I will lead a small group, and we'll report back with what we find. The plan was met with enthusiastic approval, and a group of volunteers quickly assembled. Within days, they were on their way, traveling by bus to the first town on their list. Their journey took them to several different places, each with its own unique approach to sustainability. In one town, they saw solar-powered irrigation systems that had turned arid land into fertile fields. In another, they visited a waste management facility that transformed garbage into energy, providing electricity to the entire community. Ravi was particularly impressed by a small village that had implemented a community-owned wind farm. The wind turbines stood tall against the horizon, their blades turning steadily in the breeze. The village elders explained how the project had not only provided clean energy, but also generated income that was reinvested into local education and health care. This is amazing, Ravi said to Priya as they walked through the village. We could do something like this in Chandrapur. We have enough open land, and the winds here are steady enough to make it work. Priya nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. It's definitely worth considering. But we need to think about the costs, the logistics, and how it would fit with what we've already started. The trip wasn't just about technology, though. In one town, they encountered a program that taught young people how to combine traditional crafts with modern design, creating products that were both sustainable and marketable. Priya immediately saw the potential for something similar in Chandrapur, where the artisans were known for their skills, but often struggled to make a living. This could be a game changer for our craftsmen, Priya mused. If we can help them adapt their skills to meet modern demand, we can preserve our cultural heritage while also creating new economic opportunities. After several days of traveling, learning, and brainstorming, the group returned to Chandrapur with notebooks full of ideas and heads full of dreams. The villagers greeted them with eager curiosity, gathering in the square to hear about their journey. Ravi and Priya took turns presenting what they had seen and learned. The villagers listened intently as Ravi described the wind farm, the solar irrigation systems, and the waste-to-energy plant. Priya shared the stories of the artisans and the young entrepreneurs they had met, emphasizing how these initiatives could be adapted to fit Chandrapur's unique needs. The response was overwhelmingly positive. The villagers were excited about the possibilities and eager to start exploring these new ideas. We'll need to prioritize, Priya said, addressing the crowd. We can't do everything at once, but we can start with the projects that will have the biggest impact. Over the next few weeks, we'll hold more meetings to discuss the details and decide on our next steps. As the meeting broke up, the villagers began to talk excitedly among themselves. sharing their own ideas and suggestions. Priya and Ravi lingered in the square, watching as their fellow villagers dreamed out loud about what their future could look like. "It's amazing how far we've come," Ravi said quietly, turning to Priya. "And it feels like we're just getting started." Priya smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "That's because we are. There's so much more we can do, and I have a feeling that Chandrapur is going to become a model for other villages, not just in our region, but maybe even beyond." With that, they walked back to the community center, ready to start planning the next phase of Chandrapur's transformation. The journey ahead would be challenging, but they knew that with the creativity, determination, and unity of their village, anything was possible.